You might remember the video I made where I was talking about the drought, and we had a little go with a spade and tried to dig some of the grass, take a look at the roots, and we looked at the spring oats, and we just had a little look over them. Well, I thought you might want to come and have a look at the spring oats now, after some rain and a bit of heat and a bit more time, and you might be pleasantly surprised. We've had some decent spells of rain and we've had some decent spells of heat, and today you can see it's actually quite a nice warm day, which is really good. This is what we want. But you can see here, if I just turn the camera around, the ground is still very dry. So this is the track alongside the field, and you can see the soil up here is so hard and sandy, and that's consistent with the field up here. So because it's sandy, it drains very well. So actually when it's a really wet year, we get on quite well up. This is up higher on a hill, so naturally, because of gravity as well, water runs downhill. So the lighter land, usually higher uphill, means less wet. That's sort of farm rule. But it also is quite sandy in general, so it drains well too. So how have the oats fared in the last few weeks? Here they are now. Oats as far as you can see. So because of that rain, it came just at the right time. The crop is not too short, which is really good for us because we want the straw. Because of the kind of year it's been, there's going to be a possible straw shortage because a lot of the crop might not have grown as tall as we would like. If you look round at any grass you haven't mowed recently or anything like that, you notice it isn't as tall, and that's just purely a water thing. So actually I'm quite pleasantly surprised with the height. I mean, if I get down here, you can see like got some quite thick stemmed, look at that there, compared to like a finger there. That's decent thickness on the stem, and we've got quite a lot of oats coming on those, so I'd say they're looking really good. I'm really happy with those. But what's really nice about these is they might end up on your dinner plate or breakfast plate or snack plate. One of the best parts of being a full circle kind of business is we grow crops for feed. So we like to have oats and barley mixed with a special protein to help really stimulate the growth of our cattle, and it's really important to us. The best way, it's what's the best way of putting it, we really want to make sure as much as possible what goes into our animals and goes into our products is from this farm, including the food. This also brings me on to the grass, because we do a lot of hay making, and the hay's going to be a bit short this year in height terms and volume terms. But we've got a little bit here. This is where I did the digging earlier. You might remember this. So let's have a little look over here. I mean, it's not great. This is where it suffered more. So you can see here, it's not very tall. The grass is actually quite, yeah, see, quite short. I mean, we've had years where the hay's been easily twice as long as that, and you're getting bare patches. This is what I was talking about, the sandy soil. Look, you know, after all that rain we've had, it's still hard and solid underfoot. So I think a lot of farmers will be finding this year that they're going to be short on the grass side of things. A lot, the grazing's been tougher because of the lack of rain, and we're doing sort of weekly rotation kind of thing, which is helping to stimulate the growth of the grass. What's really interesting with grass is that when it's a certain length, which is like, I'm not exactly sure, but the growth is stimulated more by when it's eaten at a shorter length to grow back. But once it gets past a certain shortage of, like, so if you sort of have a plant goes right down, right down, right down, and overgrazed, you run the risk of the plant just not being able to have the resources to spring itself back into action, and it can kind of die off or dissipate and lose its quality. So when you're grazing, it's very important to, you know, make sure you're rotating it so it doesn't get overeaten. It's a bit like when you hack back a plant or a tree, you know, in your garden. You know, you can cut a bush back and you can prune it, it will come back stronger. But if you cut it back too far, it dies, it kills it. So yeah, it's looking pretty nice. We've also got the other field of oats across here, which I'm just going to walk over to. Now these are a lot shorter, but to be fair, when you're on the edges of the field, it's always a little bit shorter. We call them the headlands. Now these are all flat because the sprayer's been in here. They're still looking good and healthy. I mean, if you see, if we could, even a little one there that's not as big, it's got a decent root on it. There's moisture in that there. You can see the moisture in my hand when I open it up like that. It feels tad damp, and that's really good. It's nice the moisture's locked in. So really, it's doing it a lot of good out here. But it's a really nice time of year when you get to this spell of that green growth sort of spell where it starts to become the crop, but it hasn't started to go golden yet. I think it's really nice. It gives a real feeling of like lush growth and new fresh start, and the eternal optimism. That's what we're always going for in farming. What's going to be lovely as well, if you see here, all the hedgerows are coming to life, teeming with birds and bugs and bees. We're going to be getting some lovely blackberries coming along soon, which will make some lovely fruit pies, I'm sure. But we try and keep them, look how lush and growing and well growing they are. And that's actually really important. You're kind of stimulating pollination in your fields by having really lush headlands and hedges full of bugs, bees and such. It really makes a massive difference. I think it's really nice. It's one of the passions I have as a farmer is the harvest time. And someone like myself, I'm quite impulsive, and I really struggle with the patience in life. I like to get on and do different things and stuff like that. I'll just go back on the Kubota for a minute. But the thing is, farming teaches you to be patient. It makes you learn that there's things bigger than you in the world, things out of your control, seasons, and all you can do is your best the whole time. And so I'll open up the window of this and have a little look out from my view. So this is the track I was just telling you about there, and you can just see the crops looking really nice. Even the edges here along the track are looking quite thick and lush, which is nice. It's a really special time of year, and to be out here in the middle of the field, just I've cut my lunch short because I wanted to come and have a chat with you and sit and enjoy just being in the middle of the field, because you know, farming can be really busy, and on our farm we have a lot of livestock. We have a butchery business, a glamping business, and I've got 3 children. And with all of those things intertwined with the fact that my wife works 4 days a week teaching agriculture, it doesn't leave a lot of time on the farm for reflection and enjoyment of just loving what you do. And sometimes it's nice just to jump on the off-road buggy, because it's just cool to have machines, isn't it? And come into the middle of the field and just check how the crops are getting on. Yeah, and I'm really happy. It's really nice. Maybe we'll just take a quick I'll take a quick drive up and down and we'll have a look, see what you think. So we're about halfway down the field I was showing you second, which had the shorter stalks of oats in. Just, I don't forget the handbrake. That door's about as squeaky as my knees. So you can see here, this is slightly different. It's the same crop, but again, you can see the difference in the soil. It's slightly damper than at the top. But what I really love this time of year is if you get your hands on a sample of the dirt, you can feel the heat radiating through it, and that's really cool. You can see how the sunlight not only stimulates growth on the chlorophyll side of things on the plant, but also heats that soil up and gives it a lovely humid, delicious growth spurt. But if I just show you, got all the field goes all the way down there and all the way up to the top there. So if you can see those trees in the distance, that one over there, the third tree, no, the second tree even, that one, that's where we were just filming a minute ago. So it's quite handy to have the old buggy to drive about in, especially when you've got sheep and livestock to check, which is nice. But yeah, it's I can't even say how much difference the rain has made. In fact, the rain when it came has probably saved it. I mean, you know, there's still chance for it to not yield well, because that's just farming for you. But I would say, in general, it's looking pretty strong. So that's the oats at the bottom half of the field. We'll go and have a look at the winter wheat at the bottom and go and see how that looks today, I think. So if it wasn't for YouTube, I probably wouldn't take the time to do this all the time, and it's actually really nice. It's a good excuse. I'll just park in the glamping spot, no one will know. Ooh, makes me feel like I'm a customer. So if you like what you see here, we do glamping. I'll show the parking space actually whilst I'm here. So I put in all this little fence here. We've got a little you might be able to hear it. That's a little waterfall there. It's quite cute. So when guests, they drive down this track, down here, driving, they park at Chestnut Lodge parking here. That's for a different video. So yeah. Now you might remember I did a video the other day about winter wheat and blackgrass. So that's this field again. The reason I'm taking you to these sorts of fields, the same ones, because they're all along the track where I live. So we've got some fields in the distance. So some of these over there you can see sort of like those ones there, they're ours as well. And some are a lot further along that way. And we've also got some, these sort of fields along there, but they're all grass with the sheep. So yeah. But we're in a bit of a crap patch here because this is where it flooded and over there. But if even this part looks pretty good, then we're going to be right. But look at the dry. Look at the cracks in the ground. Look. Now the soil changes as you come down the hill. So at the top of the hill it's sandy and slightly redder. Sorry, I'm always itching my nose. I've got the itchiest nose in the world in the summer. I reckon it must be hay fever or something, but I don't really do anything for it. And this field's heavier, more clay. So it does take on the water better and absorbs better. But even now, with all the the weather the way it's been, you know, it's still very dry. But if you just see the crop shimmering nicely, hold on. It's almost just shimmering, just gently in the breeze. Look at that, how beautiful. And even since we last came in the field, they've started to get there, look a little bit less stressed. They're looking like they're filling up well. And it's all coming along nicely. It's looking good. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've done the music down. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you think. But I'm trying to do some longer videos, so if you've got any ideas or anything you want to see in any depth, then please let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe.